I did want to say a few words because
Scoop, shut up.
I will be honest with you, I was kind of halfway, do I do the 60th birthday party or not? I put the money aside years ago just because I wanted to have an excuse to get together and celebrate something. But I was, the last year and a half or so has been tough. I think a lot of you know what's been going on. I was between my dad passing and my sister being ill. But one of my cousins who's here, my cousin Christina, reminded me that we're getting to the age where we spend a lot more time assembling at funerals than we do for happy occasions. And my goal here for this, and I'm hoping some of you understand my diabolical strategy here, is that I really don't like a lot of attention on me for an extended amount of time. But I said, this party is a great excuse to do something that I love, which is reuniting people. So I'm going to just make a couple words and just recognize a few reunions that are taking place here that are very important to me. I'm going to start with my family, because that's where everybody starts with, right? My mom, dad, who's not here unfortunately, but about 2 weeks before my dad passed away, we were sitting in the hospital, and he actually told me something that he's never really said to me before, which is that I hope you realize that you're never going to be alone. And it's one of those things that I wasn't sure what he was saying, and that as he kind of explained further, he just reminded me that how lucky I am to be surrounded by people who I think support me and have really backed me up. So I thought that was a really great observation on his part. But my brother and sister and mom have done such a great job helping put this together. My mom and dad, who spent probably combined 60 years doing work in the federal government, God bless them, and sent all three of their kids who grew up in Maryland to college in Virginia, for God's sake. It's just an amazing job. It really set the tone for all this stuff. But then I've got a great extended family. I don't know how many of you met my cousins, many of them are sitting over here. We've always played the game that most of you would probably meet my cousins here and never guess that we're related when you look at us. I think that there's Asian recessive genes somewhere. But who've been closer to brothers and sisters than they are cousins. So I'm just very lucky to have them. All the memories you've had growing up and going visiting Cape Cod, hanging out in New York and California. We still need to do our Italy trip, but we'll figure that out in the next couple of months, right? But they've been a godsend, and it's been great watching their families grow up and watching my family grow as a result of that. So I'll start with that reunion, how fun that's been. I'm going to mention, I'll go to the Lambda Chi crew. Going to University of Richmond was not my first choice, to be honest with you, but it was the best choice. I know. I'm totally not going to, but it was the best choice. I think there's probably close to 50 or 55 University of Richmond folks that are here. I think it does start, I feel like my life made a dramatic shift when I got talked into rushing, because I really wasn't sure if the Greek thing was for me, to be honest with you, but I met folks like J.D. Dedarian and Julio Purcell and Steve Neely and Chris Rykow and Kevin Kraska, Bobby Koenig, Jim Gunther, folks like that in the rush process. And I started to actually believe that maybe I could fit in with these guys.
Hell yeah!
And then it didn't take long for me to be brought into this web of folks. Dave Revis, one of my best friends on this planet, Chris Hogan, Frank Eppinger, Clark Davis. I look at Eddie Murn and all these guys, Mahoney, all these guys who would, I will say, they did roast me and put me in my place. But they really did make me feel like I belonged, and for that I'm going to be eternally grateful. I will also say that experience, I got to hang out with a lot of really cool women that were so far above my pay grade. I had no business hanging out with them. I look at Michelle McDonough Rykow, where's Ann Latham, Steph, I look at Christy Bogart, Andrea Amore, Trudy, all the Cher and all these wonderful women that are here that made me feel a lot cooler than I actually was, to be honest. Where's Lauren? And where's our Crescent girls? Christy,
Crescent girl.
We have 2 Crescent girls in the house. Gotta love it. So those guys are always going to be very important to me. Look at how many of them actually brought me back to Richmond. Where's Pat Sanderson?
Aww.
Sandy. He was telling me, when I visited him, I think right in the middle of the pandemic, he's like, when are you moving back here? And I honestly was not even remotely thinking about it. And within 3 weeks or something like that, I think I signed a contract to move into my house, and it's the best decision I've made in my life at this point. So, been thrilled with that. And then if you look at the Lambda Chi and Richmond relationships that have grown since then, Garino and I barely knew each other. And, I can't imagine going a week without talking to Mark Garino, or folks like Dave Marin, Dave and Ellen making the drive up, 8 hours or something like that to come to this thing. My cup just runneth over. And I'm going to make the comment, I've got some college students here. You want to raise your hand, girls? Vivian, Katie, Lily, Allie. I'm going to just give you a little aspirational goal. When I joined Lambda Chi, when I actually came to Richmond, I thought maybe I'd be lucky enough to have like 5 or 10 friends or something like that 40 years from now. And then a very wise young man named Will Campbell.
Yeah.
Where's Wilbur?
Will Campbell!
In the cheap seats.
Come over here, Will.
He's back here in the cheap seats. Too short.
When I was a senior, Will Campbell was a little squirt freshman who told me, I think maybe 2 days after he got a bid from Lambda Chi, that he and I were going to be best friends 40, 50 years down the road. I told him I think he's full of shit. But 40, 50 years down the road, we still talk all the time. I want to give you guys some aspirational goals here, because the friendships are important now. They are going to mean way more, I swear to you, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Because when life gets harder, these are the people you want in your corner.
But it's about you too.
Okay. But again, I just think it's so important for you to understand that part. So I'll move on from the Richmond folks real quickly. If I look at my afterlife, Will Campbell also helped introduce me to a lot of our friends that we hung out with. Rich and Jill Dewey, the Mumfords, the Alec and Paige Forrest, Dave and Amy Brooke, my old roommate. Where's my old roommate? Dave, Big Dave, right? Big Dave and Little Dave lived together for 3 years, yes. Of course he's at the bar. I have just so many fun memories of those years after college, and I can't imagine going through it without you guys. I look at my friends from Raintree, all my tennis players. There's members over here. God, how many member guests do we play together? You poor guy. Too many. Yeah, probably one was too many. But the Burlesons and Steve and Lisa, Dean and Dominic that are back there somewhere. Scott, Sharon Johnson, God, my U of R pal that we get on the court with from time to time. It's just how important those relationships were. And they gave me a couple other families. Where are the Woods? There they are, with Christine and Callie and my little nieces and nephews over there that adopted me 35 years ago when I got robbed on Christmas Eve and somebody took me in at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was their family, who I'd known for 3 months, and we probably spent 30 Christmases together since then, I think, right? Those are the memories that you want to take with you. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anybody else. Oh, and I'm sorry, and my work families. How lucky I am to work with people that have been as committed to the love stuff that I love doing. In particular, I'm going to kind of point out how lucky I was to get involved with the National Association of College Employers. So there's a ton of people here that do career services work, college recruiting work. So if you've got kids that have been employed the last couple of years out of college, those are the people not just that are doing the hiring, but that are changing the landscape and making it better for your kids on campus. And I've been so lucky to be embraced by that crew and to get some chance to do stuff. Where's Sean Vanderzeel? Sean back there, yeah. The CEO, of the National Association of College Employers. That poor guy had to deal with me for a year, every day and he had to be thinking, okay, I totally lost a bet when I got stuck with Along when he was working with me for a year or so. Dan Black and Dawn Carter and Marcia Harris and all these great mentors that I had. I will point out my dear friend Kathy Sims, who died about 2 years ago, who really got me started doing this stuff. Also want to, passing, just recognize a few folks that are no longer here that I miss dearly. My friends Keith Mumford, Chris Kondracki, who so many of us know in the room. My friend Clark Davis, Vivian's dad. I will think good thoughts for them and really wish they were here to celebrate here. So, but lastly, because I think I've been talking too long and we need to get some drinks, thank to all of you for coming, because this does mean the world to me. I'm just overwhelmed that so many of you actually decided to make the trip to come here. So, I think we need a little toast after this.